Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining in with me today. I am Rushda, and today I'm going to be talking about my perspectives with regard to Indigenous Australians and education and how Indigenous education perspectives can be embedded into a teaching practice. Before I begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and pay respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which I stand here today. I can say that I started off this unit as pretty much a blank slate. I'm an international student from Sri Lanka, therefore have not been exposed to this knowledge at all. So therefore, this unit is pretty much the starting point of my learning. And even though it's just been a few weeks that we actually got onto this subject, upon learning about the different incidents and histories, I can say that I'm in complete shock of all the events that took place, particularly revolving around the stolen generation. So it is no doubt that these events in history has had brought great suffering and pain to these people. And it's no doubt that this discrimination still continues to date, which makes it all very important for us as future teachers to be fully aware of their history and to incorporate Indigenous education perspectives in our teaching practice to better accommodate all students. So going into this unit, my expectations are to first gain a comprehensive understanding about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, their histories, languages, and so on. Just basically know what makes them them so that I can better connect with students. And secondly, to try and make links on how these events in history have made a drastic impact on these children and how I can better support them as a teacher. And finally, to gain a better knowledge on Indigenous education perspectives and how they can be incorporated into Western teaching practices to enhance teaching as a whole. I believe that this learning will have a significant positive effect on my teaching practice and professional relationships. Year 2013 stated that Indigenous students primarily face a loss of self-esteem due to their lost identities, which result in educational failure. But by knowing this knowledge, I as a teacher would be able to better accommodate and understand these students and offer the support that they require to succeed within learning in classrooms. And furthermore, Apana 2012 states that even today, there's a big barrier between Indigenous and non-Indigenous students within classrooms. And most students require assistance from teachers to bridge that gap. So therefore, being more aware of this knowledge will enable me as a teacher to foster communication and collaboration between both groups of students to foster a good overall learning environment. To discuss this further, I would now like to elaborate on the contributions of a very prominent Indigenous person who is Auntie Joy Wandin Murphy. She's a senior Wurundjeri leader who has been involved in Aboriginal issues for over 30 years. She's also a prominent figure within the educational sector, who was also an honorary professor at Swinburne itself. Auntie Joy has received many recognition for her work, out of which the noteworthy being the Victorian Honour Roll for Women, the Victorian Aboriginal Women's Award, and also in 2006, she was appointed as an officer for the Order of Australia. If I am to describe her extensive list of contributions, I'm going to pretty much keep you here for 10 minutes. So instead, I'll discuss one of her most noteworthy contributions that is very close to my heart and which resonates well with me as a future teacher. As an effort to bridge the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous students and to promote the Waiburang language, she has co-authored two children's books which were written in the Waiburang language and which beautifully illustrates Aboriginal culture and heritage. And in my opinion, I think that's a beautiful way to spread awareness regarding Aboriginal culture and history to all children. After all, reading and books are a big part of a child's life. And I think it's a beautiful way to sort of spread the knowledge of their culture to all children at a very young age. Finding innovative methods to spread knowledge regarding Indigenous Australian culture is one of Auntie Joy's key educational philosophies. And it made me think as to how I can incorporate her values into my teaching practice. So I did some research, and here I've outlined three simple yet effective methods backed by research shown to create a very inclusive classroom environment for all students. So, first being inclusion of visual aids that acknowledge indigenous culture. Obviously, a picture speaks a thousand words, and having them on display within classrooms creates a better awareness and understanding among all students. Secondly, incorporating indigenous languages into the classroom, even if it's simple words. Research has shown that this induces indigenous students to come forward, and it gives them a better opportunity to express themselves and to express their culture within classroom environments. And finally, creating engaging activities with students using technology. So this can be showcase of videos, movies, games, or even exposing students to online Aboriginal cultural websites are shown to be an effective way in inducing this knowledge towards other students. And these are just very simple methods, but can be simply and effortlessly integrated into the classroom. And me going forward as a teacher within the business and IT discipline, yeah, these methods are something that I can incorporate into my teaching practice. On that note, I thank you all for listening and hope you have a very nice day.